This motherboard here, it has great nostalgic value to me. The year was 2003. I had saved up a bit of cash and I wanted to build my own computer with my own money from my first job. And it had one task it had to do. It had to be able to play Doom 3. This was the game that was hyped beyond belief when I was finishing high school. And when it finally came out, I didn't have a computer that could run it. So I went out and got this one organized. It's an Asus P4C800-E Deluxe motherboard. It does have the header for that now obsolete and useless Wi-Fi module. I do have that as well. It only does 11 megabits, so who really gives a toss? I'm not going to fit that. Moral of the story is with this one, if you plan to come back to your computers at some stage, actually store them in an appropriate manner. I had this stored in my shed. Unfortunately, all of the fully sick accessories that I had with this, such as the ATI Radeon 9800 video card, Sound Blaster Audigy sound card, well, that's all been destroyed by mouse piss, unfortunately. Fortunately, there's been a minimal amount that's gotten on the board itself, and this board did work when I tested it. I had it running for about 30 minutes in the BIOS voltage status screen, just monitoring the voltage core and whatnot. I walked away thinking, yeah, this is a good test, and then in the distance I heard a high-pitched screaming sound, and then I came back to a dead computer. This MOSFET was basically red hot, unable to be touched, and all of these caps here were also red hot. I assume it's a symptom of the capacitor plague. I have removed every capacitor off this board. I'm going to completely recap it with quality Panasonic caps. They have been ordered. Funnily enough, I've tested every one of them and I cannot fault any of them. So I'm hoping it's just something wrong with them that is out of the scope of my capacitor tester in seeing. But as far as I can tell, there's nothing wrong with them, which is kind of concerning. The fact that they were getting ridiculously hot, and these inductors were also ridiculously hot. Hopefully it's just bad capacitors, but we'll see. So we've got these MOSFETs. They're operated by these dual channel MOSFET drivers. And there's also the actual voltage regulator module controller hiding underneath this. I'm not opposed to actually going through and fixing any of that. Should the recap not fix it, I've got the data sheets and schematics complete, ready for action. Should I need to fault find the voltage regulator module section on this board, I'm going to give it a go. I'm not too concerned about surface mount soldering. I've done a reasonable amount of practice on that now, so I think I should be able to handle that. But anyway, hopefully it's just a case of recapping it and it comes back to life. But we'll find out soon enough when all of that comes in. And yes, that battery is completely dead. If I had a PLC-C32 adapter, I would have flashed this BIOS to the latest version as well. I'm surprised I didn't do that back in the day. It does have in-system BIOS updates. Obviously, it's not that old. So I can probably do that as well. Anyway, I shall post an update when I have refit all of the caps and all of the holes, by the way, they're all cleaned out. Many of the YouTube computer experts make out that it's really hard to actually deal with these caps on these massive ground planes. It's actually a piece of cake. You just have to have the right equipment. I have a really fine tip on my soldering iron. Once the caps are removed, I just put the soldering iron tip on this side and my vacuum desoldering station on the other side, both set to 380 degrees Celsius. Soldering iron just drops into the hole once the desoldering gun is on the other side at the same temperature. It melts the solder instantly. Turn on the gun and slowly lift out the soldering iron tip, and it sucks all of the solder straight out of the hole, and they're perfectly clean, awaiting installation of my new Panasonic caps when they arrive.